a group of former slaves, including the Reverend Jack Yates, wanted a place to celebrate the Emancipation Proclamation, bringing an end to slavery. They finally raised $800 to establish Emancipation Park in 3rd Ward. This weekend, neighbors will celebrate in a brand new park sitting on top of a whole lot of history. I took a tour to find out what this park means to not only those living in 3rd Ward, but our entire city. You grew up in this neighborhood, so what Emancipation Park means to you is probably much more than some other folks may realize. Take me back to the days when you were a little kid playing in this neighborhood.
It's very personal, very personal. And today when I was walking among the trees, it brought all of the memories back. The birthday parties, you know, there was always something going on here at Emancipation Park. We had games that we came and played just on our own. Jump rope and drew hopscotch and, you know, swam in the pool. There were baseball games here.
At that time, this was a different era. It was during desegregation. So you say swim in the pool. A lot of African Americans, you know, the joke is they don't know how to swim.
Right.
Where were they going to swim? They didn't belong to a country club that had a swimming pool, right?
This was the access here and the Y on Wheeler, the YMCA. That's where we took our swimming lessons. The Emancipation Park and the campus of Texas Southern in 3rd Ward were our areas for leisure and play and family gatherings and meeting one another. You know, and our parents were really responsible, you know, for seeing that we had these kinds of activities around us at all times.
Things changed after desegregation. A lot of folks moved up and moved out, and that kind of rocked the neighborhood a little bit. What does this mean to this neighborhood?
It really, for me, and I think for everyone who's grown up in 3rd Ward, Deborah, is a recognition and affirmation of what the founders of this park gave to us. Yes, it fell into disrepair for some time and wasn't used as much as the neighborhood changed, but at the same time we always recognized it as being kind of a touchstone for this area. And as a member of the Emancipation Park Conservancy Board, I take on the responsibility, you know, of seeing about the maintenance and the programming and fundraising for this park very seriously, because I think of those founders who had this incredible vision. You know, these were men and women and leaders of, you know, 4th Ward, Freemanstown, who at that time said we need our own space. We need our place where we
Well, there are other spaces you weren't allowed to go to.
Right, but this became our space in which not only to celebrate Juneteenth, but to really plan for the future. And for a group of African Americans to have had that vision in 1872, you know, we have to continue and make it even flourish in a different way for this century. And the fact that Phil Freelon, who designed the National Museum of African American History and Culture, designed this park, makes it, you know, even more important.
Gdh, where we are is brand new, but the history and the purpose is old.
Yes, where we are is the Cultural Center, which was the main building for the park. It's where all the events were, the conventions, the performances, the Blessings Theater, which is here now, and we can have events both facing inward and outward.
Yeah.
So this is really our showpiece.
Tell us the history of how this all started in this location.
Well, what happened in 1862 was that many citizens got together and decided they would form the Colored Festival and Emancipation Park Association. And they did. They raised $800.
Back then, that was a lot.
That's probably like $1 million or so right now. And they purchased the property from a family. Those individuals then set about to make sure that there was always a place for people to celebrate freedom. That was the key. to come to this location and celebrate freedom. And they did that year in and year out. People came from all over the city. Many African Americans were allowed off work during that day. My mother's family would walk from 5th Ward to 3rd Ward, so they would be right here in Emancipation Park. In addition to this facility, we have our recreational center where you can go in and exercise, and people are welcome to come and do that. Just bring your license. We also have our aquatic center, and so we're very, very proud of that, where children can come and play with the splash pads and play in the water, and it's also there for individuals who are disabled. That's a special area for that. We have our tennis courts. We have a really gorgeous playground for young folks, and then we have a section with some rocking chairs for those individuals who are mature and maybe need to rest a while.
Yeah.
So we're real proud of that area.
This is not necessarily an investment in the community as much as it is a reinvestment in the community.
Right. The park has been here, and this has been a city park for 100 years. And in addition to what the city and the federal government and the state government, all those individuals have put into here, we've gotten designers and architects and individuals who contributed and gave us the ideas to kind of flow and allow us to express the culture and continue the whole purpose of celebrating freedom.
Yeah, and this can happen obviously all year round, but Juneteenth in particular has a special meaning to folks, especially in this part of Texas.
We can expect a lot of activities. On Saturday, we have a big celebration where we have a lot of speakers expressing their desire to make sure that we're going to continue to celebrate. Then on Monday, we also have a big event where we're changing the name of to Emancipation Avenue. And so that's another celebration that will happen on Monday at 8:30. But from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock on Saturday, we're asking for people to come from all over everywhere to help us celebrate this revitalization.
Not just African Americans, everybody.
Everybody. Yeah. This is a public park. This is the only public park and the first public park in the whole state of Texas where everybody could come since its inception. So yes, it continues to be for everybody, and we would love for everyone to come and celebrate with us on that day.
Throughout the weekend leading up to Juneteenth on Monday. For more information, log on to HoustonParks.org. Now,